All you print, the less it's worth.
The more you print, the less it's worth.
The more you print, the less it's worth.
The more you print, the less it's worth. And the Fed! And the Fed!
And the Fed! And the Fed!
Down with the private corporation!
Down with the private corporation!
You caused the inflation!
You caused the inflation!
And the war! And the Fed! And the war! And the Fed! And the war! And the Fed! And the war! And the Fed!
Restore the Constitution!
That's the solution!
That's the solution!
Restore the Constitution!
Restore the Constitution!
That's the solution!
That's the solution! And the Fed! 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 Audit the Fed!
Audit the Fed!
Audit the Fed!
Audit the Fed!
The more they print, the more inflation we have. They're directly responsible for most of our taxes. If you want to reduce your taxes, we must audit the Fed and have them accountable. No more bailouts!
No more bailouts!
No more bailouts!
Alan Greenspan said on PBS that the Federal Reserve is an independent organization and it's above the government. How arrogant is that? Bush and Obama are the same!
Bush and Obama are the same!
And the Fed!
End it now!
End it now!
Communism was funded by the bankers!
Yes! Wall Street funded Hitler!
Wake up, America! The time is now! Or never!
You end the Fed, you end the war, and you get the money back into people's hands, and then it'll lead to prosperity and liberty for everyone.
I think the Bill of Rights and Constitution is a really good set of documents, and we should restore sound money at least. And I just don't like a small group of people with their own private interests basically acting as a parasite on a once great republic. And concerned about the future, and that's why I'm here.
Have it right here is evidence, further evidence that proves that the Federal Reserve is actually a private bank. If you look down here, what we have is a plaque that says, private property, right to pass by permission and subject to control by owner, meaning the owner is not the American people. Section 1008, Civil Code. This is kind of creepy, isn't it? The Federal Reserve is not the people's institution.
You want to talk about bringing the troops out of Iraq? Why are we bringing the troops out of Germany? We've had troops in Germany since World War II. This is ridiculous.
50,000 troops in Germany.
That's right.
I, for one, don't believe that everyone involved high up is really thinking this through. I know that some people might be conspiring to bring everything down so they could erect something in its place. I think there is some of that. But I think that, honestly, some people just don't understand the damage this is doing. And I think that if they did, they might be a little bit reluctant, not because they care about us, but because if you kill the host, the parasite dies too. And a state that becomes too oppressive, it's not even good for the state. If the Soviet Union, this is why the Soviet Union had to move toward free markets a little bit under the new economic policy. Because if you actually kill the host, the state dies. And they're running the country off a cliff, and it's a sad thing to look at a silver lining at this, but they can't control events. They can't actually print their way out of depression. They can't actually borrow their way out of mass debt because it runs against the structure of reality. So we have reality on our side. We have a growing group of people who realize that if you oppose the corporate welfare state, or the normal welfare state, or the police state, or if you oppose the perpetual, they call it nation building, it's really nation destroying. If you support modern war, which is just mass murder and enslavement, if people are opposed to these things, they have to oppose the Fed. They have to support ending the central bank. And I have more hope than ever that this movement, there's been nothing like this in 100 years in this country.
And I want us to get away from war. I want us to support our children. I want us to have a good environment, and I'm not so interested if it's precious metals or paper money, but I want something that works for the local people, and I can use all of your help as a teacher for your children to get guidance. And I hope you're the best, and we do need to end the Federal Reserve. It's just a morally corrupt system. Thank you.
Now, we have a serious problem in this country, and I did run for Congress a couple of times on an impeachment truth peace platform, and I think that the best thing we could do and our responsibilities as Americans is to follow the Constitution and to rein in our own government from its criminal behavior.
What do innovators like you know? Well, a couple things you know. You know that you can't create money out of thin air without consequence. And innovators like you know that this system is also the base, the nexus and the base support for the political banking class that has destroyed more wealth in this country than we could ever imagine. Paul Volcker this week said that we're going to have to review the Federal Reserve Act. Former Fed chairman, you are having an impact. People are getting the message. Don't stop. So exactly what is it that's wrong with the Fed? Well, we talked about paper money, we talked about interest rates, but one of the things we haven't talked about before is that every Federal Reserve note that comes out, every single one has debt associated with it. And ultimately it makes us debt slaves. It's an interesting thing, you know, we once were the largest creditor nation in the world. And now we are sadly the largest debtor nation that the world has ever seen. I don't know. Did they have something to do with it?
They stole our money! They stole it all!
So as far as I'm concerned, this is a big step dismantling the Federal Reserve. I'm happy to start carefully and responsibly dismantling it today. But a lot of people aren't, so we have to take little steps. But in the meantime, can't we know what they're doing? Can't we have a little bit of oversight? Can't we audit the Federal Reserve? And that's exactly what H.R. 1207, the House resolution introduced by the one, the only, the great Ron Paul, intends to stop. Does anybody here want to audit the Fed? Do you want the Fed to tell you when it should be audited? Do you want the Fed to buy and sell securities on the open market in secret? Do you want the Fed to cut deals with foreign central banks in secret? If you manage to get out of bed in the morning, you know we should be auditing this bank. Why aren't there 435 co-sponsors of H.R. 1207 right now? I guess Congress doesn't know how to get out of bed. Hey, by the way, anybody, just a quick side note here. Would anybody put their money in a bank that wasn't audited? Do I need to beat this horse dead again? Is it done? We get it? In fiction and in history, it's been the innovators who stood up, spoke the truth, and inspired people to follow. It's been the innovators who spoke truth and made the world change for the better. It was the innovators who told the emperor he had no clothes. It was the innovators who said the world is not flat. It was the innovators who said the earth is not the center of the universe. It was the innovators who told the king that they will not go for this tyranny. And it are the innovators today who are going to tell the world that this entity, this Federal Reserve, cannot stand. Today we are not right. Today we are not left. Today we are not liberals. Today we are not conservatives. We are not libertarians. We're not socialists. We are innovators, united, raising our voices and standing in opposition to this institution.
I'm not gonna take it anymore.